It's salty, saucy, and tender pork ribs that'll make you want to eat more rice. Here's my version of pork ribs Humba. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Paulo, and today we are going to be making one of my childhood favorites, which is pork Humba. It is traditionally created using pork shoulder or pork belly, but I'm feeling a little adventurous today, so we're going to be using pork spare ribs. So let's get started. So here I have about 3 to 4 kilos of pork short ribs or 1 pack, which I got from Costco, and I'm cutting it in between the bones to create small bite-sized pieces, which will also help us create more traction in the wok. Now I'm rinsing the pork ribs under water, and I did this about 3 to 4 times to remove most of the blood, impurities, and gunk out. So now I'm filling it up with water, and I'm going to transfer it back into the stove, and I'm going to let it simmer for 15 minutes or until all the gunk and impurities float to the surface. Then it's time to prepare the aromatics. So I'm cutting yellow onions to large chunks, and if you prefer onions lengthwise or dice, by all means, you do you. Next, I'm cutting about 15 cloves of garlic. I love garlic, so I don't shy away from using 1 to 2 bulbs. In some recipes, though, about 5 cloves is enough. Now look at the ribs. I removed most of the impurities, so now it's time to drain them and wash it with more water. Yes, more water. Trust me, it's worth it. Once you start making this, you would want to make your humba using pork ribs. Then it's finally time to cook the humba. So we're gonna start with heating the wok for about 1 to 2 minutes and adding a high temperature oil. I'm using avocado oil. And yes, the hex clad is a flex. Let's swirl it to cover the large surface area of the wok. Then we'll add in the onions, give it a mix. Then the garlic. Mix again. And now we add in the cleaned and boiled pork rib. Now it's time to add all the other ingredients. We'll start with soy sauce, white vinegar, crushed black pepper. I prefer this over whole black peppercorns because the last thing I want while inhaling my humba is biting a whole peppercorn. But then again, you do you. I also add in Chinese Shaoxing Wine, a non-traditional ingredient, and this is optional, but I like adding this because it adds a floral note. I also like to add a little dark soy sauce because I find the dish more appetizing with the added color. I find soy sauce in the Philippines both dark and salty, so I'm trying to replicate it with the dark soy sauce. I'm going to mix it so you know what I mean. Of course, I'm gonna add another important ingredient, which is pineapple juice. Fresh is best, but if you only have access to canned pineapple juice, don't deprive yourself from making this dish. It's still gonna be good, I promise. Next, we're gonna add star anise for the licorice note and some dry bay leaves for the earthy, woodsy note that I love when I eat humba or adobo. I also add brown sugar, so the pineapple juice is both sweet and tangy, and the brown sugar balances off the tang. And while it simmers, it also adds a smoky taste. Now we add another traditional ingredient, dried banana blossom. Give it a mix, and now we cover it and let it simmer for 45 minutes. So while it's simmering, I'm gonna make myself a cup of coffee using my Aiko Glabda mug from Alol and Pao. They also sell tote bags with the Aiko Glabda print, kay daghan ra ba jud labad. So if you're interested, I'll link their profiles in the description below. Follow them in TikTok and Instagram for your daily dose of positive vibes. And of course, humba is not complete without rice, so I'm making it using the famous finger method. If you're Asian, you know what I mean. Now it's time to unwind and wait for the pork ribs to become tender. I'll check on it occasionally and stir it so the bottom won't burn. While I wait, I'm going to light and enjoy the scent of this calamansi candle, relax, and wait for the timer to go off. The candle is from Slow and Still Company, and they are the sponsor of today's video. Slow and Still Company is an AAPI and woman-owned company. They make natural, non-toxic, and sustainable candles inspired by Asia. And what I love about this company is that all the candles are hand-poured in Houston, Texas, and they have scents inspired by the Philippines, such as calamansi, Palawan, Sampaguita, and my favorite, barong. Message them in Instagram and try not to hoard, like me. I'll link their profile in the description below. Now back to the video. I am rinsing my final ingredient, which is salted black bean. I do this because the dish already has soy sauce, and if you skip this step, the humba will end up too salty. I also add this at the end because the dish needs to simmer for 45 minutes, and I want my black bean to still have a firm texture when I bite it. All that's left to do is grab a heaping amount of rice, add the humba and the sauce over the rice, and there you have it.
Guys, you need to try this at home. I promise you, it won't disappoint. If you made pork humba before, how do you make it? What do you do different? If you like this video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye! It's so good. You need to try this at home. If you like this video, consider subscribing. It's so good. If you enjoyed this video, let me know what you think.